Driving Chronicles. I got a wingman with me today. That's my ace. That's my ace. She's my ace in the hole. Has been my ace for a long time. Long time. So, Driving Chronicles, what I got for you guys today? Let's see. What I got for you guys today is, let's talk about blended families. Okay, so I have a blended family, not in a traditional sense and not in the way that other people might have a blended family where they have, a partner brings kids into the home, or from a divorce or something like that. So my family is not blended like that. It's blended on purpose. All right. So what does that mean? So blended on purpose means I have some adopted kids. I've fostered kids. We were lucky to have had our only son, which is a blessing. But we've had to go on a journey to create our family, which is something that been hasn't been easy, and oftentimes hasn't been kind to us. But we continue to put one foot in front of the other, and we continue to do God's will. And our family ministry has been to provide shelter to kids that they didn't ask for this. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. They didn't ask to be or have the set of parents that they had, or the circumstances that brought them into care. And I could relate to that because I just grew up in a terrible environment. And when you grow up in the type of environment that I grew up in, and I'm lucky, thank God, for having great parents, thank God. And that's the only reason why I'm here today, is great parents, right? But when you grow up in an environment, in a single parent household, and it's drug infested all around you, and there's no hope, there's probably drugs in the home, there's all of this chaos and stuff like that, it becomes very easy for you not to be able to see through the other side. And then it begins to hardwire what is normal, right? Normal is chaos. So when you grow up in an environment that's, like I described, drug infested, filled with chaos, filled with all sorts of stuff, it begins to be very hard for us to see through the other side. So that's why we do what we do in foster care, right? So that's one of the driving factors. So that's why my family is blended on purpose. I truly feel like it's a calling for us to be able to serve other souls like that. And I've always had the thought of, if your family situation is not great, come chill with our family. And our family has always been open arms. It's not just my immediate family, but my brothers, sisters. We've always operated like that, and we invite people into our home, and they could just come kick it with us. I mean, that's just that's the vibe, that's the vibration. So our family dynamics are different, and I have to mention this because we adopted. Things are different. I mean, some of the things that are different for us might be, initially when we have kids in the home from foster care, there's naturally some rules that we have to abide by, and we don't want them like in our bed, and don't want them like in our room and stuff like that. There's obviously there's safety reasons for that. So initially, when you begin like that, you kind of lose some sort of connection Whereas our son, he's been in our room, in our bed, and hanging out with us for a really, really long time. So, I'm saying that is a vital piece that we know that we just don't have with them, and we need to build, right? Also, too, when you have a blended family, it takes a long time for them to trust you, right? I had to battle this one, myself. I battled it. Naturally, they connected with my wife very quickly. And then for me, I'm like top liver, maybe because I'm a little too firm. And it's funny because I remember I asked my kids, I was like, "Does Daddy have too many rules?" They were like, "Yeah, Daddy has a lot of rules," but that's okay. Rules are good. Rules, kids thrive in discipline. Kids thrive in consistency, right? Allow you just to do whatever you want to do as a child because I need to be able to guide you in the right direction, right? So for me, I was fighting a battle, uphill battle to connect with my kids, and it just wasn't happening. It wasn't happening in the speed that I was hoping for. It wasn't happening at bedtimes. They didn't trust me. So I remember our routine is the kids will come in the room, we would pray, and then we would say goodnight, right? And they, goodnight is give me a hug, give me a kiss, and then, they go to their room, goodnight. So we would pray, they would just walk out of the room and not say goodnight. Hey, what's up, Bob? How you doing? If just say in the chat where you guys are from. I know I'm kind of rambling and I'm telling my stories, but they would just say goodnight and they would just leave the room. And then it was getting me so frustrated that they weren't like giving me a hug and they were, giving me a kiss and say goodnight and stuff like that. And frustration was really building with me for a while there, and I wasn't connecting with them, right? And now to see kind of how they treat Daddy, they really love them some Daddy now, right? They really I could see and feel that, and I love them too. I'm not like most guys that are afraid to show affection to their kids. I'm very affectionate with my kids. I wake them up every morning and I kiss them, on the forehead. I greet them properly. I greet them how I want to be greeted, and it's very important. Bobby from Tennessee. Nice to meet you, Bob. So that was a test for me, but it was also a test in patience and understand that things won't necessarily happen in the speed in which you want them to happen when you have a blended family, right? It's going to take time for you to gain their trust. It's going to take time for you to connect with them in a way that they want to connect. So that was a big lesson learned for me through the years. He says, yes, this is how parents should, and we need more people like you. Man, appreciate it. Thank you. We do. We definitely do. We definitely need more homes for these children. We do. We need solid homes too, with balance, right? Like I said, having my parents there and seeing the balance between, my mom and my dad and them having to work together to, one, to pay bills, two, to raise children in this crazy world, which is going to tell them all sorts of stuff that they have to believe in themselves. Well, what about when yourself lies to you? Right? I know I lie to myself all the time, right? But I know how to find the truth. I don't stay there. I don't stay in a lie. I know how to find the truth. So it's important that we understand that there are differences when you are bringing, children into your home. So through time, it did get better. The interactions got better. I started, playing with them more, started teaching them things. My kids are a wealth of knowledge, and they continue to surprise me with how hard they work, how affectionate they are with us, and how affectionate they are with each other, and how they know it's important when another kid comes into our home that they're on the clock, they're serving, they are watching over baby, they're watching over the kid, and teaching them the right ways to do things, or not the right ways to do things. And it's great to watch. It's great to watch your kids kind of exude the spirit of God, and it's beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. So blended families could be tricky, but if you're patient and understand that everything's not going to align exactly the way that you want it to align, or everything is going to have its own timing, you'll be okay. And you also need to be on the same page. You need to be on the same page with your spouse. It's important. Your spouse needs to be on the same page with you day in, day out, and how you're going to manage, and how you also going to pivot when things are not going right. And that's the one thing that we've learned the most, is pivoting and trying new things when the things that typically work are not working, and then coming together lockstep with each other, making a plan and seeing if that works. Now, if that works, now that's the new plan. That's how we operate. That's what great parenting look like. So, what you said, family is a big part of the kids, and we need people who show their kids how the world is and how it works. No, I agree with you, Bob. I agree. We do. So family is everything that I'm about. I've always been that way. As a matter of fact, I selected my wife as the mother of my kids before I selected her for myself. That's how big and how important family is to me, and has always been. So what are the lessons learned? The lessons learned are, it may not happen on your timing. Things will be different, and that's okay. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the process, and just love abundantly, right? Love abundantly. That's the secret sauce, right? And then we also have the ultimate sauce. I'm not gonna lie, is we take everything to the Creator, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Right? He's at the center of all things that we do, and that's the sauce. That's the sauce to healing trauma. That's the sauce to turning the corner in a relationship and making that blended family work for you. So that's my 2 cents. Those are my deep thoughts on how to make a blended family work. So Bob, if you haven't already, go ahead and click the subscribe button. I shoot a car chronicles every month. It's earlier, so appreciate you jumping on, and have a great day.